Today we are tackling something that every single serious developer thinks about. How do you actually build professional, large-scale Flutter apps? We're going to lay out the exact blueprint for what success looks like in 2025 so you can go way beyond just simple hobby projects and create something that's truly solid and built to last.
We've all been there, right? You've got this awesome idea. Maybe you've even cobbled together a few small apps. But making that jump, that's the hard part. How do you build something that can actually grow? Something a whole team can work on without stepping on each other's toes? Something that won't just collapse into a pile of spaghetti code? Well, that's exactly the gap we're going to bridge today.
So here's our game plan. We've got a 6-part blueprint to walk through. First, we'll talk about why scaling is such a challenge. Then, we'll lay down the architectural foundation. After that, we'll dive into managing the app's brain with state management, and then build an unbreakable safety net with testing. From there, we'll look at the backend ecosystem, and we'll wrap it all up with a core development philosophy. Let's do it.
Look, we all love Flutter because it's amazing for building beautiful apps on any platform and doing it fast. That's the magic. But when your little app starts to grow up, going from a few screens to dozens, with complex logic and more than one developer, that early speed can turn into a nightmare if you don't have a solid plan. The real challenge isn't just writing more code, it's building a system that you can actually maintain over time.
And that leads us to, honestly, the most critical part of this whole blueprint, your software architecture. Just think about it like this. You wouldn't build a skyscraper by just stacking floors on top of each other and hoping it doesn't fall over, right? Of course not. You need a deep, solid foundation first. Your app is exactly the same.
So, how do we build that foundation? Well, the gold standard is what we call a layered architecture. Now, that might sound a little academic, but the idea is incredibly simple. You just separate your app into different layers, and each layer has exactly one job to do. It's the ultimate stay-in-your-lane policy for your code, and it's what keeps everything organized and, more importantly, easy to test.
Okay, now let's break this diagram down, because it shows the flow perfectly. Way down at the bottom, you've got your external stuff, APIs, databases, whatever. The data layer's only job is to talk to them. Simple. That raw data gets passed up to the domain layer, which holds your core business rules. Then, the business logic layer decides what the app should do with that data. And finally, way at the top, the presentation layer. Your widgets just has to worry about making things look pretty. See, it's a clean one-way street.
And this is the magic part. This is where that abstract idea on a whiteboard becomes real. Your project's folder structure should literally be a mirror of your architecture. You have your different features, your repositories, your data sources, all neatly organized. Any developer on your team, or even you, 6 months from now, can open this project and know exactly where everything is. It's beautiful.
So we've built the skeleton of our app. Now we need to add the brain and the nervous system. We need to manage its state. Now, if you've spent any time at all in the Flutter community, you know this is probably the most debated topic out there. And the choice you make here is huge. It's going to shape how you build everything else.
In the ring today, we basically have two main heavyweights. In one corner, you've got Bloc. It's the seasoned veteran, super robust, predictable, and it creates a very strict wall between your business logic and your UI. It's a favorite for huge enterprise-level apps. And in the other corner, you have GetX. It's the modern, lightweight challenger that's all about performance, simplicity, and writing less code.
And you see this kind of thinking a lot with teams that are planning for the long term. This quote says it all, right? They didn't just pick something randomly. They studied, they experimented, and they chose Bloc specifically because it shines on big, scalable projects. That strict separation it forces pays off big time when your app gets complex.
But hold on, that doesn't mean GetX can't handle big projects. Not at all. Its whole philosophy is incredibly attractive. I mean, who doesn't want better performance, more productivity, and cleaner code? So really, the choice comes down to your team's philosophy. Do you prefer the strict, predictable structure of Bloc, or the fast, streamlined simplicity of GetX?
Okay, whether you go with Bloc or GetX, there is one thing that is absolutely 100% non-negotiable if you want to call your app professional. You need a safety net. You have to know for sure that your app works and that adding new stuff doesn't break the old stuff. And that, my friends, is where testing comes in.
I absolutely love this quote because it completely changes how you should think about testing. It's not some boring chore you do at the end. It's a tool that gives you freedom. It's what gives you the confidence to hit that release button anytime, knowing that your app is in a stable, shippable state.
And that brings us to this bold number, 100% code coverage. Now, I know what you might be thinking.
That's crazy. And yeah, it's an ambitious goal, but it's the pursuit of that goal that matters. It forces a kind of discipline that ensures there are no dark, untested corners in your app where bugs can hide. It is the ultimate safety.
And yes, writing tests takes time up front, I get it, but it is an investment that pays you back tenfold, I promise. Your test suite is your #1 defense against bugs. And here's the best part. It also becomes the best documentation you could ever write because it clearly shows what every piece of code is supposed to do.
Okay, so our app is beautifully architected. It's thoroughly tested, but it can't be an island. It needs to talk to a backend to get its data, and it needs a reliable way to actually get delivered to users. This is your app's ecosystem.
And just like with state management, you've got two main paths here. On the left, you've got Firebase. You can think of this as back-end in a box. It's incredible for getting started quickly. But on the right, you have a custom serverless approach. This is your go-to when you need total control and flexibility, for when your business logic is so unique that nothing off the shelf will do.
And once the code is written, you have to automate the delivery. This is CI/CD. Continuous integration, or CI, automatically runs all your tests every single time code is changed. It's your 24/7 quality control guard. And if everything passes, continuous deployment, or CD, automatically builds and ships to wrap. It's the software factory assembly line. Okay, let's zoom out. We've talked about a lot of technical details here, but when you put them all together, it's more than just a checklist of tools. It becomes a philosophy. It's a way of approaching your craft with professionalism and a vision for the future.
So this is it, the modern Flutter blueprint for 2025. You start with a clean architecture. You choose your state management wisely. You make testing a core habit, not an afterthought. You automate your entire pipeline, and you make smart choices about your backend. This is how you build apps that are not only great today, but a joy to work on for years to come.
And this quote from Jorge Coca just wraps it all up perfectly. He connects the three most important words: maintainability, scalability, and tests. They're all part of a cycle. A clean, well-maintained app is easy to test. And an app that's easy to test is one that you can scale with confidence. It all works together. So I'll leave you with this one question. Every single time you sit down to code, from deciding on your folder structure to writing a single test, ask yourself this: am I just building something for today, or am I laying a foundation for tomorrow? Because that's what makes all the difference. Thanks for tuning in.